Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be my November TBR. Y'all, October was such a great reading month for me. I read 20 books, and out of those 20, so many of them were 5 stars. I read so many books that I feel like are gonna be my favorites. It was just a great time. Like, I was having my best life reading horror and smut and horror smut. It was just a great time. So I'm hoping that that positive energy continues on into November. So I really have no idea what I want to read this month. Usually, like, going into my TBRs, I have like a general idea of some of the books that I want to pick, but I'm like blank slate, open to reading anything. However, there is one book that I know that I want to read this month, and that is Lessons in Corruption by Jonna Darling. I'm currently reading this. This was part of my Smutathon TBR, and I don't think that I'm going to finish it today, which is the last day of the month. So I'm just going to move it right on to my November TBR. So this is a motorcycle club romance. It's the first book in this series. It's a romance between a student and teacher, older woman, younger man. I'm enjoying it so far, so I'm really excited to finish this. For the rest of the books, I'm going to choose challenges out of my jar. Y'all know what we're doing here at this point. I have tons of challenges here in this jar that help me to select all of my books. So let's just get started in choosing. I will say that I think I'm going to do a separate October wrap-up for all of the books that I read in October. Since I read 20 books, I read so many, I want to share all my thoughts on them instead of just kind of glossing over them in the beginning of this video. So that should be coming out within the next couple of days. My Smutathon vlog is also going to be coming out soon. So a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to. But let's go ahead and start selecting all of the books. So the first challenge that I'm going to pick is this one, which is a hyped book that you're hesitant about. Okay, interesting. A hyped book that I'm hesitant about. Let me go pick some options. Okay, so I grabbed 2 books. These are both books that I feel like have hype. I don't really know if they're maybe like extremely hyped, but they both have hype, and I am hesitant about both of them. So the first one is Lessons in Sin by Pam Godwin. You guys watched my last TBR redo where I read Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. I loved that book. I'm obsessed with it. It's probably an all-time favorite romance, and everyone pretty much in the comments unanimously said that I need to read this book. The reason that I'm hesitant about it is because it is a student-teacher romance. It's a romance between this girl and the priest, head teacher at this Catholic boarding school. And typically, I'm not a fan of student-teacher romances. However, this book is making me rethink that. I don't know, okay? I feel like the month of October was me saying I didn't like certain things and then reading books that had them and liking them. So do I even know anything? No. So I don't know. I'm hesitant, but I'm curious. And then the other book that I'm hesitant about is The Heart Principle by Helen Hoang. I adored the first 2 books in this series. However, I've heard some things about this book that make me question if I'm actually going to like it. Certain emotional themes in this book are ones that I tend to avoid, and I've heard that it's much less romance focused than the other 2 books and more of like the main character's personal journey. So I don't know. I'm hesitant. I'm honestly hesitant. I think that out of the 2, I'm gonna have to go with Lessons in Sin. I just feel like I'm more in the mood to read this. I've been on like my dark taboo romance journey. I do really want to read more by Pam Godwin since she blew my mind with Sea of Ruin. So we're gonna pick this one. Don't we love that both of the books on my TBR so far are student-teacher romances? You guys, I'm a changed woman. Okay, the next challenge is blurbed by my favorite author. Perfect. Okay, blurbed by my favorite author. That just means blurbs are like the little quotes on the front of books from other authors. And so I have to find a book that has a blurb on it from an author that I love. It's gonna make this easy on myself instead of like pulling down all my books and looking. I know for a fact this book, Sun Daughters, Sea Daughters by Amy Ogden, is blurbed by Seanan McGuire. I mentioned this in one of my recent videos. I was originally planning to read this for my video where I read my favorite authors' blurbed books, but I wasn't able to get my hands on it in time, so I'm excited for this. Seanan McGuire has the blurb on it. She said, absolutely gorgeous and deeply moving, this novella is familiar and strange at the same time, like a new interpretation of a beloved recipe. What this book is about is it is a space opera reimagining of The Little Mermaid, which sounds amazing. So I'm really excited for that. All right, the next challenge is Booktuber's favorite. Okay, what are some Booktubers' favorite books? Oh, wait, where is that? Okay, I'm gonna read Prisoner by Skye Warren and Annika Martin because this is one of Lainey's favorite books and she's been telling me to read this book for years. She mentions it so many times and I always intend to read it and then just never do. When we did the Smudathon live show yesterday, she mentioned it again.
I keep telling you to read, what's it called? Prisoner by
I know,
Skye Warren.
I have it.
You have to read it. That's
know.
my favorite prison. I won't call it a prison romance, but like a prison break romance, I guess.
I don't actually know if this is like her favorite book, but it is the book that she recommends to me the most. So I'm just gonna count it. This is a prison break romance. I think that's all I know about it. It might be like she might work in the prison and then the prisoner like uses her to escape and like holds her captive. I don't know. I'm just going based off of a lot of the like very vague things that Lainey has told me, but I'm excited. I've only read one book by Skye Warren and I really liked it, and I've never read anything from Annika Martin before, but I'm excited for this one. Okay, next is reminds you of a favorite movie or TV show. Okay, I know exactly what I'm gonna pick for this one, and that is The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling, and this is supposed to be inspired by Crimson Peak, which is a movie that I really love. Caitlin Starling is the author of The Luminous Dead, which is a sci-fi horror book that I loved when I read it. So I've been really excited to read this book. This has been like one of my most anticipated books of the year, but basically this is about a woman named Jane who has a marriage of convenience with this doctor, and the only rule that he has of their marriage is that she is never allowed to stay the night at his family estate. And one night, because of certain circumstances, she ends up having to stay the night there and learns all these like dark secrets. That's all I know about it. Honestly, like the Crimson Peak comparison sold me enough, but I'm really excited for this. The next challenge is Sapphic. So I have to pick a book that is Sapphic or has a female-female romance in it. And I know exactly what I want to pick, and that is The Perks of Loving a Wallflower by Erica Ridley. This is the second book in her The Wild Winchester series. The first book was The Duke Heist, and I read it earlier in the year and loved it, and I've been so excited for this because these were two characters that we met in book one, and I was just like in love with them, intrigued by them, and I cannot wait to read their romance. I've actually already started this a little bit, but I put it down right before Smudathon started, so I'm very excited to get back into this. Next, I'm going to pick this one, which is Pole Pick. Okay, so for this one, I picked two books that are somewhat similar, and I post them on my Instagram story and have you guys choose. So let me find two books. I want to try to find ones that, like I said, are like is similar sort of in genre and also in popularity, because otherwise whichever one is more popular is just gonna win no matter what. Okay, I think I found two that I don't necessarily think they're similar in plot, but they're both fantasy-ish romance books, and I believe that they're both of equal popularity. So the two books are Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is book one in the Plated Prisoner series, which is a fantasy romance like retelling of King Midas. And then the other one is Pestilence, which is book one in the Four Horsemen series by Laura Thalassa. And this takes place in our world, but the Four Horsemen have come down to bring about the apocalypse and the end of the world. And so this one follows Pestilence. So I'm gonna post a picture of these onto my story, and then we'll check in a little bit later and see which one is winning. I feel like if I had to choose, I would pick Pestilence. I kind of hope this one wins, but I would be happy to read Guild as well. I've just been told by literally everybody that book one sucks, and that makes me a little bit hesitant because I'm like, if I don't like a book, I'm not going to continue the series. But everyone is like, oh my god, book one is terrible. You just have to get through it, but the rest of the series is great. I don't have that kind of time, but if it wins, I'll try. I think I'm gonna pick one more, and I'm gonna choose this one, which is favorite author. So I know exactly what I want to pick for this one, and that is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. You guys know how much I loved The House in the Cerulean Sea, and I've been so excited for this book. So this says that it is a life and death love story between a man who lives to help the dead and a man who died. From what I know about it, I haven't wanted to know too much going into this because I just want to experience it, but I believe it's about a ghost and then the ferryman between like the living and the dead who like transports ghosts, and it's a love story between them, which just sounds amazing. I've been told that it's very emotional and sad. I'm meant to have tissues while I read it. And you know what? Like, I'm entering a little bit into my seasonal depression era, so I might need an emotional sad book to just cry over. Okay, let me check in with the poll, see how it's doing. Okay, we have a winner. So currently, Guild has 300 votes and Pestilence has 353. So this one is winning, and I'm actually excited about that. I'm excited. I really want to read this, especially because I've been waiting for the 4th and final book to come out, and I think it comes out this month in November, because I've seen some people reading arcs of it, and I love post-apocalyptic books, especially like post-apocalyptic romance books. I've been very excited to start this series. And I've never read anything from Laura Thalassa, and I feel like she's extremely popular, so I've always felt a little bit left out. So here are all of the books that I'm going to be reading in November. We've got a pretty good selection here. We've got like a gothic horror, a fantasy, a motorcycle romance, priest romance, post-apocalyptic romance, a dark prison romance, a space opera, a historical romance. I'm just covering all the bases here. Definitely look out for reading vlogs for these books. I'm gonna try to vlog all of them. And thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!